women, they have minds. And they have souls, as well as just hearts. And they've got ambition, and they've got talent, as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it.
This girl's scream voiced the heartfelt cries of so many girls. Yet, in America 150 years ago, there was almost no path for women other than marriage. Such clarity of mind was considered nearly insane at the time. But this girl named Jo was determined to defy fate, publicly rejecting a proposal from her childhood sweetheart. She would rather hide in a New York attic writing cheap novels than ever become a man's appendage. Her older sister Meg wanted to marry into a wealthy family for stability, and her younger sister Amy counted on marriage to change her destiny. Only Jo wanted to carve out her own world. Just as she was finding her footing, a telegram from home tore everything apart. Amy was critically ill. Jo immediately dropped everything in New York and rushed home regardless of the cost. Falling into a groggy sleep on the bumpy train, a dream transported her back 7 years, back to the reckless teenage Jo who hadn't yet been calloused by life. Before the ball that night, she accidentally singed her sister Meg's hair. The whole family scrambled to fix it, finally styling Meg's burnt curls into a fashionable hairdo. At the ball, Meg smiled elegantly despite her pinching high heels. Jo, however, hid in a corner simply because the back of her only decent dress was scorched. A gentleman suddenly waved at her, and Jo quickly slipped into a side room, only to bump into her neighbor, Lori, who was also hiding for some peace and quiet. Lori's gentleness instantly dissolved the awkwardness. Two people forgotten by the ball chatted in the dim room. Jo chattered endlessly, and Lori answered patiently. He had never seen such a lively girl.
Jo, would you like to dance with me?
I scorched my dress, see? There. And Meg told me to keep still so no one would see it. You can laugh if you want to, it's funny, I know.
I have an idea of how we can manage.
And so, the empty corridor bathed in moonlight became their dance floor. There were no rules to bind them, no strict dance steps, only laughter when they stepped on each other's toes. Unfortunately, the dance was interrupted by an accident. Meg twisted her ankle, and Lori volunteered to escort the sisters home. This special night became the beginning of their friendship. It was the time of the Civil War. Their father was away with the army, and Marmee was living in poverty with her 4 daughters. When Lori stepped into this small cottage, he was instantly enveloped by its warmth. The sisters were busy tending to the injured Meg, the mother offered gentle comfort, and the firelight reflected their laughter, a stark contrast to his own cold, deserted castle. He stood at the door, reluctant to leave. Jo, meanwhile, had already rushed back to the attic, picking up her pen to write, leaving everything behind. She didn't know yet that this boy, who had danced the wrong steps with her under the moonlight, would become the deepest regret of her future life. On a snowy Christmas morning, the 4 sisters had been busy all morning and had just prepared a sumptuous breakfast. Marmee returned from outside with a difficult request.
Not far from here lives a poor young woman, Mrs. Hummel. Her 5 children are in one bed to keep from freezing, and there's nothing to eat. My girls, will you give them your breakfast as a Christmas present?
Without hesitation, they trudged through the thick snow to deliver the steaming food to a dilapidated shack. Looking at the children's trembling hands and hearing the mother's tearful thanks, smiles appeared on their cold, reddened faces. But when they returned home hungry, they all screamed in unison. The dining table was filled with roasted meat, cakes, and fruits, delicacies they had never seen before. It turned out Lori had seen them offering help in their hour of need from his window and told his grandfather. The stern Mr. Lawrence had long been warmed by the laughter next door, and in this moment, he sent a silent response. An echo of kindness made this Christmas exceptionally bright. It turns out love is a mirror. The world reflects back whatever you give. The 2 older sisters worked to supplement the household income, but Aunt March poured cold water on them. If a woman wants to turn her life around, she must marry a rich man. Jo disagreed. For the past few years, the March household had been held up entirely by women.
I intend to make my own way in the world.
Oh, well, no one makes their own way. Not really. Least of all a woman. You'll need to marry well.
You are not married, Aunt March.
Well, that's because I'm rich. And I made sure to keep hold of my money. Unlike your father.
Well, so the only way to be an unmarried woman is to be rich?
Yes.
It turned out that a woman's only way not to rely on a man wasn't marriage, but her own money and her own skills. From then on, this pen was Jo's weapon. Every manuscript fee was her confidence to stand against worldly conventions. One day, Lori invited Jo and Meg to see a play. Little sister Amy's eyes lit up.
Please, can I come? Please, can I come? I'm sorry, dear, but you weren't invited.
Can't go, Amy, so don't be a baby and whine about it.
I don't want cords, Beth. I want to go
No,
to the
I
theater.
think you'd hate to poke yourself in where you're not wanted.
Joe refused firmly, and Meg nodded in agreement alongside her. No one noticed the grievance and hatred in Amy's eyes. In the theater, Laurie's gaze constantly drifted toward Joe. When the play ended, Meg ladylike took John's arm. Laurie also smilingly extended his hand to Joe, but Joe punched him and strode off to catch up with her sister. Laurie's hand froze in midair, the light in his eyes dimming bit by bit. Joe rushed home, wanting to write everything about tonight into her novel, but the manuscript was gone. She searched the room, only to see unburnt paper ash in the fireplace. It turned out that to take revenge on Joe, Amy had burned her novel. That was the blood and sweat of 7 years. Written from age 12 to 19, a finalized draft copied word for word, thrown into the fireplace by Amy. Joe felt as if her soul had been hollowed out. She immediately lunged at her sister like a madwoman, and they wrestled together. Marmee came to mediate.
Don't let the sun go down on your anger. Forgive her. Help each other. And you begin again tomorrow.
She doesn't deserve my forgiveness. And I will hate her. I will hate her forever.
The next day, Joe kept a cold face the entire time, refusing even to look at Amy. When Laurie came to ask them to go ice skating, she agreed without a second thought, wanting only to get away from the sister who had destroyed 7 years of her effort. They skated further and further along the riverbank. The cold wind blew, but it couldn't extinguish the fire in her heart. Suddenly, a heart-wrenching scream came from behind. Joe whipped her head around. Amy had fallen through the ice. She was struggling desperately under the surface, shattering ice blocks constantly hitting her. Joe's anger was instantly swallowed by terror, and she rushed back like a madwoman with Laurie. When Amy, soaked through and lips purple, was dragged ashore, Joe hugged her tight, her tears falling into Amy's freezing hair. In that moment, Joe suddenly understood that compared to the burnt 7-year manuscript, this trembling life before her was what she absolutely could not lose.
When I get into passion, I get so savage I could hurt anyone, and I'd enjoy it.
Her mother gently guided her.
I'm not patient by nature, but with nearly 40 years of effort, I'm learning to not let it get the better of me.
Cracks in the ice can be repaired, and so can cracks in the heart, as long as it's not too late to embrace. Some forgiveness requires a plunge into the freezing point to wake you up. The train arrived at the station. Joe walked through the woods, past the secret mailbox, and pushed open the door to her home. Mother and Meg were sitting at the table. The 2 children had grown taller, but when her gaze turned to Beth, her heart sank. The changes in a patient are invisible to those who watch over them daily, but Joe, returning after a long absence, panicked at a glance. Beth's face was as white as paper, without a trace of blood. All these years alone at home, she must have been very lonely. When exactly did the sisters' separation begin? Perhaps it was from the day of eldest sister Meg's wedding. Meg was different from her sisters. She still remembered the family's wealth in her childhood and was the most weary of poverty. Everyone thought she would marry for status, but no one can predict the future. 7 years ago, when Meg attended her first debutante ball, Joe chased after her, warning her not to fall in love easily. Meg smiled and didn't take it seriously. Joe had to ask Laurie to look after Meg. Playfully, she gave a ring she had just received to Laurie. Laurie took it and carefully put it on his ring finger. At the ball, Meg became the center of attention. Noble ladies gave her a new pink dress and intimately called her Daisy. She wore fine clothes and circulated among gentlemen, almost forgetting who she was, until Laurie appeared with a frown.
Why are they calling you Daisy?
It's just like playing a part, to be...
What will Joe say?
One sentence woke her up. Meg hid in a corner and cried secretly. She had almost become the kind of person she used to hate the most. Laurie quickly apologized.
I don't like your dress, but I think you were just splendid.
Really?
Really.
I know it's silly, but please don't tell Joe. Let me have my fun tonight. I'll be desperately good for the rest of my life.
That night, Meg understood that vanity cannot trade for a sincere heart. What she wanted was to be truly seen and seriously cherished. Laurie's British friend Friedrich came to visit him, but Meg had no eyes for this wealthy young master at all. She walked straight to the tutor, John. They talked happily, unable to hide the smiles at the corners of their mouths. Just as Joe was wondering about her sister's unusual behavior, Laurie was already smilingly pulling everyone to play on the beach. No one noticed Amy behind the crowd, quietly sketching Laurie's profile. This little girl, who had followed behind them since childhood, had already quietly buried this boy deep in her heart, until a telegram was hurriedly delivered, completely shattering the peace. Their father was wounded on the front lines. Mother was anxious to go, but travel expenses became a problem. Joe went out for a trip and came back wearing a hat.
Where'd you get the money?
Well, I only sold what was my own.
I'm so proud you're my daughter.
She pretended nothing was wrong. In the dead of night, Joe hid in the corner of the stairs and cried secretly. What girl doesn't cherish her long hair? At this moment, Amy walked over softly and hugged her gently from behind. Joe was stunned. It turned out this little sister, who used to only cause trouble and fight her for things, had quietly grown up long ago. Those petty quarrels, those harsh words spoken, will always pass, but the heartache carved into the bones never disappears. After Mother left, Beth kept her instructions in mind and treated everyone with kindness. She knitted a pair of slippers for Mr. Lawrence. After returning home, the sisters excitedly surrounded her. It turned out Mr. Lawrence had returned the gift with a brand new piano, the gift Beth had dreamed of. When she touched the keys for the first time, tears fell. But fate played a cruel joke. Beth contracted the deadly scarlet fever while caring for a sick neighbor. Amy was forced to go to Aunt March's house to avoid infection, while Joe and Meg stayed behind to keep watch day and night. Marmee rushed back, but Beth remained in a coma. Joe held her sister's hand tight, refusing to let go, until one morning, the bed was empty. Joe rushed downstairs, only to see Beth sitting at the dining table with Mother, pale but smiling. Soon after, their father also returned from the front lines with Laurie's help. The cottage was filled with laughter again, the firelight reflecting the faces of the reunited family. But the girls didn't know that foreshadowing of death had been quietly buried in the recovered Beth, and their lives were about to take completely different paths. When Meg told Joe she was going to marry John, Joe panicked completely. Meg shook her head gently. Looking at the light in Meg's eyes, Joe finally understood that happiness never has a standard answer. Some choose love, some choose a career. As long as it is your own choice, it is the best life. Meg chose her love, while Joe would eventually walk toward her own world of pen and ink. Meg's wedding was simple, but Aunt March didn't look favorably on it at all. She repeatedly poured cold water on them, saying poverty would grind away love, and only they would understand the hardships to come. And indeed, the daily grind of marriage did wipe the smile off Meg's face. On an impulse, she bought a piece of expensive fabric for $50, but felt restless after returning home. John had said, "My money is your money," but after hearing the price, he was just silent for a long time. Meg said softly,
I try to be contented, but it is hard. And I'm tired of being poor.
That sentence fell heavily between them. The cruelest part of marriage isn't falling out of love, but loving each other while poverty grinds away the courage to say, "I want." Amy gradually saw the remaining light in his heart, and Laurie also discovered that the willful little girl from back then had long grown into a clear-headed and resilient young woman. One day, Amy handed over her sketchbook. Laurie flipped through the pages and suddenly stopped. Inside was a yellowed sketch, the outline of his profile from many years ago.
Don't marry him.
Laurie suddenly spoke. Amy looked at his earnest face, and her tears finally fell, her voice carrying a determination held back for years.
And I will not be the person you settle for just because you cannot have her. I won't do it. I won't, not when I've spent my entire life loving you.
This confession exhausted her strength, and life's tests never stop at romantic entanglements. After Beth fell critically ill, John took leave to care for the children so Meg could be by her sister's side. This was what a husband should do, yet Meg was incredibly moved. She silently sold that expensive fabric and bought a warm trench coat for John. To let Beth get some fresh air, Joe took her to the seaside. The sea breeze, carrying salty coolness, brushed over Beth's face, which was pale to the point of transparency. In this moment, she finally realized that some things are 1,000 times heavier than freedom. But when Joe opened her eyes again, Beth, who had survived 7 years ago, did not make it this time. Joe walked toward her mother, and the two embraced silently. The home became quiet from then on. No one played the piano in the room anymore. Beth had concealed her condition for a long time, not even alerting Amy, who was far away in Europe. Until the letter reached Paris, Amy broke down and cried in agony. Laurie arrived immediately, saying nothing, just gently hugging her trembling form. In shared loss and grief, two hearts finally leaned together. It turns out life is like this. It takes away your most precious and sends you what you need most. Good love is not settling for second best, but two clear-headed people illuminating each other. After Beth left, Jo's world became completely empty. She began to doubt all her choices. She had thought freedom was in the New York attic, on pages filled with words, in a distant place away from family. For that so-called freedom, she ran desperately, running past her sister's piano music, past her family's company, past the hand Laurie extended. But it wasn't until Beth's body went completely cold that Jo realized with agonizing clarity that the freedom she chased was fake. The most precious things had long been left behind by her. She choked out words to her mother. Her mother asked softly,
Do you love it? I want to be loved. I care more to be loved.
Jo suddenly remembered the sincere eyes and desolate back of the boy under the moonlight all those years ago. On impulse, she wrote a letter. She ran into the forest and stuffed the letter into that secret mailbox. That was the place where they stored their secrets when they were young, and also her last hope. The next morning, Jo was woken by the sunlight. She opened her eyes and saw a person standing by the bed. Her heart skipped a beat. It was Laurie. Her tears surged out instantly, just as the corners of her mouth were about to lift into a smile, thinking she had finally waited for fate's response. Unexpectedly, she heard the news that he was going to get engaged to Amy. The world suddenly went quiet. The smile on her face froze, tears still hanging on her eyelashes like rain that hadn't had time to fall. It turned out that her attempt to win him back, staking all her courage, was just a joke of wishful thinking. The freedom she had desperately run toward was so empty it made her want to vomit blood. Her belated return only caught his turning away. She forced a smile and said congratulations, her voice as light as a sigh. She rushed back to the forest like a madwoman and pulled that letter to Laurie out of the secret mailbox. She tore it to shreds. The river water carried the paper scraps away, like time that cannot return, like love that cannot be grasped. Some regrets, once torn up, are turned over. Late at night, Jo tossed and turned. She threw the pile of popular novels she had written earlier into the fireplace, one by one. Amidst the flickering firelight, she suddenly glimpsed the diary Beth had left behind. She gently opened it. Inside were all the little beauties of daily life. This sincerity woke her up. She decided to write the story of the four sisters, using words to keep Beth forever. She picked up her pen again, sat in front of the piano Beth used to play, and began to write. She wrote about their crowded but warm wooden house, about their secret mailbox in the forest, about their laughter and tears, about their dreams and persistence. She wrote fast, pouring laughter, tears, and regrets onto the paper. This was the story she truly wanted to write. Soon after, Jo completed the manuscript. She named the book Little Women and sent it to a publisher in New York. Mr. Dashwood initially didn't think much of this book about women's stories. No one cared what real young girls were like. But Mr. Dashwood's daughters wanted to know the ending, making him realize the book's potential. Aunt March passed away. This old lady, who had spent her life talking about marrying into a wealthy family for stability and had scolded Jo countless times for being rebellious and ignorant, left all her properties to Jo. Later, Jo turned the mansion into a school. Meg came to teach acting, Amy taught painting, and Jo herself taught writing. The four sisters reunited in another way. They finally understood that marriage is never a woman's safe haven. Her own capability is. Being able to earn money, to choose, and to shoulder responsibilities is the eternal confidence. Having a career to root oneself in is more solid than marrying anyone. Jo went to New York again with the Little Women manuscript. This time, she finally dared to sign her real name on the book. She no longer had to write melodramatic trash to please others. But Mr. Dashwood insisted on changing the ending. The heroine must get married, otherwise the book wouldn't sell. She struggled for a long time, but finally changed the ending. In the novel, Jo made her fictional self chase the professor back on a rainy night, embracing worldly completeness. But the real Jo chose another path. She did not marry. Guarding the old house full of memories, she taught the village children to read and write during the day, and sat by the fireplace writing her own stories at night. Her Little Women became a bestseller across America. The girls in the book walked toward the marital completeness approved by society. Outside the book, she had no marriage, but she possessed the respect of the entire world. Alone, yet living the most abundant and free life. It has been 150 years. Why do we still repeatedly watch Little Women? Because this book tore open a truth in front of the whole world for the first time. For women in the 19th century, life was more than the two identity labels of wife and mother. You can be a writer, a teacher, and even more so, yourself. The Joe of 150 years ago proved with a lifetime of loneliness and stubbornness. A woman's value does not need marriage to prove it at all, because a March sister lives in every girl's heart. In the 19th century, they were nailed to a life template by society. Must marry, must obey, must be silent. But these 4 girls refused. Jo conquered the world with a pen, writing freedom into words. Meg gave up wealthy nobility and chose the person who could give her warmth. Amy planned her life with a clear head, holding her destiny in her own hands. Beth protected the family with gentleness, becoming the light of her family. In a dark era, they lit a lamp for themselves with their own hands. Today, 150 years later, this lamp is still burning, because it tells us that a woman's value is never about how well she marries, but whether she has the right to choose. You can pursue a career like Jo, choose love like Meg, plan for life like Amy, and guard gentleness like Beth. A woman's ultimate destination is never someone else's safe haven, but the lighthouse she builds with her own hands. If you shine yourself, you will never fear the dark night. Meg's wedding became a turning point in Jo's fate. Her sister had her own family. Amy was about to be taken to Europe by their aunt, and Beth was frail. Jo felt lonely for the first time, and Laurie, seeing the lonely Jo at the wedding, finally summoned the courage to confess his love. Jo looked at his red-rimmed eyes, her heart feeling like it was being squeezed. Laurie turned and left, his figure desolate and lonely. Jo stood where she was and didn't chase after him. She thought by pushing him away she was grasping freedom, but she didn't know that for some people, once they turn away, it is a crossroads for a lifetime. Soon after, Jo boarded the train to New York alone. In 19th century America, a woman showing her face to create art was an utter anomaly. No one was willing to give her a chance. No one believed she could survive by her pen. She rented an attic, cold and small, and began writing day and night. But reality was far crueler than she imagined. Mr. Dashwood told her bluntly that for women's stories, the protagonist must either marry or die. No one would read anything else. To survive, Jo could only brace herself and write those melodramatic stories she looked down on herself. She never dared to sign her real name. Every time she held that pitiful manuscript fee, she felt like she had been slapped hard in the face. But she gritted her teeth and didn't give up. Over 7 years, she wrote stack after stack of trashy plots she found disgusting, and slowly saved up a little money that allowed her to stand tall. In the attic late at night, she always believed that one day she could write what she truly wanted to write. Occasionally, she would meet someone who understood her, like that German professor. He gave her Shakespeare, but frankly stated he didn't like the stories she wrote.
I think that they're not good.
Jo retorted angrily.
I can't afford to starve on praise.
It turned out someone truly saw the fire in her heart, until a letter from home arrived. Beth was critically ill. She threw down her pen and rushed home overnight. The Beth who had once acted in plays and played the piano with her was now pale as a thin sheet of paper, without even the strength to speak. Jo suddenly woke up. The freedom she had desperately chased was simply self-exile. True warmth was never in the leaky attic in New York, but in her sister's piano music, in the company of family. Those things she had thrown away with her own hands were the most precious sanctuary. Amy went to Europe with Aunt March. Aunt March instructed her repeatedly.
You are your family's hope now, so you must marry well, save your family.
Amy carved this sentence into her heart, shuttling between balls and art galleries. She learned to be elegant, learned to be proper, and also met Friedrich, who was wealthier than the Lawrence family. Everyone thought Amy would successfully become a noble lady until she bumped into Laurie on the streets of Paris. Not seeing him for 7 years, he had changed. The boy whose eyes used to shine now lingered in drinking parties, looking haggard. Clearly, he hadn't yet moved on from the pain of Jo's rejection. Amy walked up to him, her voice trembling. Laurie was stunned. This little sister who used to hide behind them and draw actually dared to speak to him like this. Later, they met often.